Hello everyone, let me try this again. So I just did a Facebook Live and it was acting goofy. So I am back. Thank you for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together for about an hour. And I work on projects from beginning to end so you can be part of the whole project along the way. So thanks for popping in here again, guys. Sorry about that little weird tech blip there. All right, I am going to be working on the Jean Quilt tonight. So the Jean Quilt is a quilt that I have been making for like a good 12 years probably. On and off, and I'm at the quilting stage of it. I am hand tying it. It is made out of my husband's old jeans primarily, but I think there's a pair of my jeans in there. My jeans weren't working perfectly because the women's jeans have a little bit more of that stretch in, so I didn't really like working with that. So it's mostly my husband's jeans. I think there might be one of my dad's jeans in here too, but it's been a long project, something that's been hanging out here for a while. So we had an extra day this week because we finished our hand quilting a little bit early yesterday. So thought we'd break out the Jean Quilt again just to like get that juju going, and maybe I'll actually leave it out and try and finish it. So awesome, you guys! Thank you for joining me here. I'm going to flip you around, and I just took it out of the bag, so we'll start there. I'll show you it. Okay, so this is the Jean Quilt. It was all folded up in a bag. And then this is my Jean Quilt project kit. So it's a little tin that has a scissors in there. It has my yarn that I'm tying it with. Oh, I have two scissors, it looks like. And then I have an awl in case I need to poke a hole. I have my big needle hiding in here. Big fat needle, strong needle. Ooh, super sharp. And a leather thimble to help push it through. So this is my little kit. I know I've talked about this a little bit before, but I like keeping all the stuff that I need for a project with the project. So all this was ready to go and right in here. So I'm going to set that aside, and then I'll bring it back out. I just want it out of the way for this. So this is the back of the quilt. Oh my gosh, even unfolding that, it's so heavy. So here it is. I don't know what the top and the bottom are here. So I am almost done tying it. Okay, I can see here that I don't have a spot on. So let's try and spread this out a little to analyze where we left off. So all right, so I was doing all like these large log cabin blocks here. So the dark blue is the outside of the jeans, and the light blue is the underside of the jeans, like inside out, the wrong side of the jeans. One of these days when I get this done, I will take a huge photo of it somewhere. It's large, like it's probably king size-ish, or a really large queen. So I was doing hand tying it. It's kind of hard to tell, but I was hand tying it at the diagonal, but then I was putting this little group of 5 in between everything just because I think it needed to be held together a little bit more. So that's kind of where we left off, I think. So this row has it. I think I need some here. All right, so holy cow, this is just like when we put the triangle tango quilt together. It's just so big on the table here. I'm just trying to see if I did any. All right, so yeah, so over here, I'll use this one as my guide. Over here, I did do 1 set of 5. So we'll start here. We'll do the rest for this kind of row area. And then I think there's one more row really to do, like one more like segment down here. So maybe we'll get that far tonight. This does take a little bit of time. After that, I need to do the whole border. So I just did long strips. These are all 1.5 inch uh, jeans that I cut and I sew together, so you can kind of even see the seams where I sew them together. So this is where a seam is out, and actually right next to it here is where a seam ended up on the inside. So I just cut a whole pile of 1 inch or 1.5 inch strips and sewed them together end to end, and then just randomly. So sometimes I sew them one way, and sometimes I sew them another way. So sometimes they're out the seams, and sometimes they're in, and the in ones are just like the line through. So this was just one giant roll, basically, of 1.5 inch jean strips. So I had to cut all the jeans down to this. So the border is log cabins in the middle. So there's 16 log cabins. They're large log cabins, blocks, and then I've just gone around and around and around for the border on the darkish side of the fabric. So that's that. So we're almost done tying the middle area, but then I have the whole freaking border to do yet, and I'm not positive what I'm going to do for that. Maybe I'll extend this line, and I don't know. I'll probably lay it out on the floor and make some decisions, but it definitely needs quilting. I mean, it can't go without. So I am going to have to put at least this much quilting in the border too. Right now, looking at the black ties, I'm not sure about it, but what I'm expecting to happen is when I wash this is 100% wool. So when I wash it, it should kind of curl up into a little ball. So I'm hoping that all of these ties will end up like little smaller balls. So like a little bit more subtle, kind of like that. That's like the end game here. All right, so here's where we left off, I think. So if we scooch it this way, this segment needs I still got pins here. This segment needs ties. So let's get this back out. Gosh, I can already tell this is going to be a whole spiel tonight. It's going to be a whole trying to pull the needle through situation, but we'll deal with it. All right, so I'm going to just get my wool out and just have it sit here. Throw this on here. Oh, this still even matches. I got gold in the middle, kind of like a jean uses that gold thread. That's why I used some gold wool that I had laying around, but maybe that's why I had the scissors with it, because it matches just perfectly. All right, I'm going to have my needle out, and then I'm going to have this all, if I need to poke holes, and maybe I should leave this guy out, that this thimble helps me, here's a different kind of thimble. This helps me kind of pull the needle through a little bit. I could have maybe used that yesterday when we were doing some hand quilting. All right, let's give this a go. It has been, God, months and months and months since I've worked on this, so it'll be trying to figure out where I'm at again. Oh, your granny Gina finished all her quilts like this. I love tied quilts, or hand-tied quilts like this. I just think it adds another layer of texture to it, to a quilt, and I just think it's really fun. So if you talk to the quilt police, they do not think that this is real quilting. At least if you talk to the state fair quilt police, they won't even accept quilts that are tied like this, which I think is totally ridiculous. All right, the first tie I'm just going to do right in the center here. I'm looking at my other one over there that's finished as a guide, and this is the line that it's on, so I'm going to stick my hand underneath here. I'm kind of just centering it. Oh man, this is going to be a whole deal tonight. Let's move this pin. He's going to be in our way. But yeah, especially for like kids quilts or baby quilts, it does just give a whole extra layer of texture. All right, so I'm just going down and up, kind of grabbing it with my left hand here. I think this is going to be a deal where I have to bring the left hand down and up quite a bit. All right, so I've doubled up the threads, and I'm at the loop at the end here. Yeah, really. Or why couldn't it just be part? Like, technically, quilting is the act of holding 3 layers together: the front, the back, and the middle. So, whatever. That's what I think. I think it's a quilt. All right. So there's my first knot. I'm going to do the other one. So I don't know how I lined up the other ones. Maybe, okay, 1, 2, 3. The next one is 3 rows up. No, it must be, yeah, 1, 2, 3. It's in line with these ones. So I'll just do another one in the middle there and another one in the middle there. And then I'll just like do, you know, approximately the same amount on the side. So I'll get my other 4. So I'm not going to trim this yet. Gosh, I haven't done this in a long time. I got to kind of get in the rhythm again. So let's go down and up. I'm going to stitch them all first, and then I'll cut them. I really hope that I don't need more quilting than I have here. I'm hoping that all these stitches are close enough to work. All right, so now to tie the double knot, I haven't cut this yet. I'm just gonna do a knot and then another knot like so, and then I'm gonna just jump to the next position really. So here, so I want it like at the same length here. So the next one will go, I think about right here. Get my hand underneath there again. Oh, nice, Bonnie. Yeah, can you tell that I've been burned by the quilt police as far as these tied quilts go? Oh yeah, a curved needle is typically for upholstery. Something like that. That would be fun to try on something like this. I should get a pile of those and just play with them a little bit. I bet you this is probably some sort of upholstery needle. It is super thick, really, really sharp, and super strong. It seems like I don't know where it came from. I acquired it at some point. Actually, I think it might have been for bookbinding. I took a bookbinding class in college, and it could be from there. All right, I'm gonna roll up the bottom here a little bit and scooch it towards me, and then I'll move the camera for you guys. I'm gonna attempt to sit down and do this. I'm kind of leaning over quite a bit here. We need to get a little bit more comfortable here. Oops, and I'm sitting on my the kick for it. Okay, we're ready now. Oh, you've used curved needles for doll making. Oh, that's interesting. All right, 3 levels up. Right here. I really do hope that these turn into like those little felted balls. That would be just so cool. It should. I got 100% wool yarn on purpose so it would felt up in that little ball. If not, it will over time. Maybe it won't in the first washing. That's one of the other things. I'm wondering if this is going to even fit in my washer. I have a top load washer, so that's good at least. That's about right there maybe. Oh, we hand tied new quilts and tied any quilts. Yeah, it's just, I love it. I mean, lately, you know, especially on here, well, this is where I do all my crafting with you guys here, but like, you know, we've been focusing on machine quilting, and we did some hand quilting. I've been focusing on that a lot lately just because I'm just practicing, right? It's a new thing to me and I want to learn more about it. But man, I still love me a hand-tied quilt like this. All right, so these are our 5 little bits here. So I need my scissors. So first I'm just going to snip in the middle of them all. And then I am cutting all these like 2 fingers worth. So I'm just putting like my 2 fingers here, and I'm snipping off the top. I'm gonna have to make a pile for cutoffs somewhere. Whoop. And I'll just do that to all of them right away before I scooch this over a hair. Do the next segment. So that didn't take that long. So maybe we can crank through this. Oh, that would be so cool. All right, I am so happy I have this project out again. Oh, yeah, Gretchen, you know what? It is harder to find than I thought. So with this 100% wool, I mean, you could buy super expensive stuff for sure, and it isn't the cheapest thing either. But I think I got this online, and I looked specifically for 100%. Like in my search, I put 100% wool. Here's the brand if you want to see this. This is Premier Yarns, premieryarns.com. Wool worsted, 100% wool. That's the important part. And you want to like make sure, like, hand wash, lay flat to dry. That's a good thing to see, because that means that they don't want you to put it in the washer, right? They do make that wool now that's like washable wool, and that's what they sell a lot, like at Joann's. They sell a lot of wool, but it's all that washable stuff, and that's not what we want, because we want the stuff that's going to shrink up like a sweater when we wash it. So look for 100% wool. They do actually have it at Joann's, but you have to. I had to ask a person to tell them I want 100% wool, the kind that will shrink if I wash it. Like, I had to like literally say that for them to point me in the right direction. And then they had a little section. I know I had bought some brown colored yarn for a project at some point. All right, I'm gonna scooch down to the next thing. Oh. But first of all, the best part, I can get rid of, oh my god, I can't even pull this. Can get rid of all these pins too. Don't want to leave any of those behind. All right, 3 of those out. I'm going to set those behind me. Sue, I do not think alpaca works. I mean, it might, but I did a little test once on a quilt where I used different animal fibers in it. So I did use the wool, and then I think I had some mohair, and I think I had something else. I think it was an alpaca even, and it didn't do it. So like when I washed it, all the ties kind of came undone. So if you're gonna do it, I would test a little bit first. But for me, it didn't work. And Charla, I think that's why. I think it wasn't quite strong enough. They just all and it was just like slippery. It just came apart. So I have a tiny bit of yarn left on here. It's not going to be enough to do all 5 of these, but I could do like 1 or 2. Might as well keep using it before grabbing a new pull of yarn. I'm going about a little more than an 1/8 inch apart here. I don't want them too close together because I don't want it to pull through. Like if it gets, really pulled on, I don't want it to like tear the fabric on the back or something. I don't think it really would, but I'm going a little far apart, and I'm trying to get them far apart too because I'm tying them all on these seams, and if I go right through the seams, that's going to just be difficult to pull through. I think I'm going to just trim this one now. That's going to be hard to pull this little guy through. So let's get rid of that. Get some more out. Lucy says, I read it has to be at least 80% wool to get the felting when you wash with hot water. Yeah, if you can find the 100% wool, or, I mean, like that's, maybe that washable wool, maybe that has just a lower content of wool. I don't know. But I remember being a little. I mean, like I said, it's been ages since I've worked on this quilt. Um, so, but I feel like I remember when I was looking for this yarn that it was harder to find than I thought. I thought it would just be super readily available, and it wasn't as much. I think I looked specifically. I think I looked at. I think I probably got it on Amazon, and I had to do a little bit digging for that 100% wool, and I wanted it worsted, or like where it was twisted like this, so it's twisted. It's not just that roving. So when you look for wool, a lot of times you'll just get that roving that's just like the one strand. That's not going to be strong enough, I don't think either. I'm making these about 3 or 4 inches apart, about 4 inches, but at some spots it's actually like maybe 6 or 7 inches, so that's what I'm a little worried about. I think what I'll probably end up doing is giving this a wash when I'm done, and then seeing how it holds up. If I feel like I need to put in more ties, then maybe I will at that point. But yeah, we're just gonna. Oops, sorry, I bumped you guys. We're just gonna see how it goes. Oops. Hopefully, like I said, I can get it in my washer. There we go. Oh, I've done that too. I use pearl cotton floss sometimes to tie a quilt, but yeah, it's not the same as wool. Like that's never gonna felt up and hold it together super well. Not like these. So what's gonna happen with the wool is that these won't even look like ties anymore. It'll get so bunched up in a ball like this that you won't be able to tell that it was ever ties. At least that's kind of the idea. That might not be until you've watched it for 20 years, but who knows? But in my head, that's what I'm hoping for, is just all these little black balls on here. It does feel nice working on this. All right, I'm going to go that far away. Ugh. Most of it's hanging off the table on that side, so it's like by millimeter pulling itself off the table here. I'm hoping to maybe just leave this project out so I work on it more, you know what I mean? Tie a couple ties here and there. It's just, the problem is it's a large project, and I don't know, it's a hard one to keep out, but I don't know, we'll see how that goes. Having it out and ready to go is half the battle, I think. Oh gosh, yeah, this would be a great camping quilt. I'm hoping it can be my uber duper winter quilt. Like, come on, quilt. Here we go. Like a really warm blanket for the bed. I made it for our bed, so it hangs over quite a bit, which I like. So that's the hope, is that I can use it for the bed. I will give it a wash first and see how that goes. It's got kind of a lightweight batting in it. It's some bamboo batting. It's from that giant roll that my mom and I had purchased back in the day. All right, we're going to go right here. This is right on a seam here, so I'm just going to go a little farther out so I don't have to pull it through so much fabric. Yeah, I've kind of heard that before, that the idea of just doing a jean quilt and then like not having batting at all and just putting just having flannel on the back. That's something I'd like to try sometime. I haven't done that with just the flannel back and no batting. Well, this is going super well so far. I was a little nervous that I wouldn't know where to find where I left off, or I don't know, it'd be hard to pull through, but it's actually being pretty easy right now. You can see I'm kind of like pulling it together here a little bit. That's just because I'm connecting the yarn to the next stitch, and I don't need a ton of yarn, so I'm just pulling it. But you know, it flattens back out um, once I snip those. So let's trim. I feel like it looks like some of these are already starting to felt from me just having this all wrapped up. Some of these ties are looking a teeny bit fuzzy, which is good. All right, that guy is done. Let's get rid of the fluff and the pins. Let's get rid of the pins. A couple ones here. And this one, and then we gotta scooch down again, and hopefully this does not fall on the floor. Let's scooch all the tools down. Okay. Oh, this is the last one for this row, so we will be scooching up after this, and I think that might be the last, after this row, one more. I think that's the last one before I have to decide what I'm doing for the border. So that's good. This is great. That's a whole step done, really, quilting the inside, even though, you know, it'll be more of the same for the border, but still, it's a new decision I have to make. Get in there. Oh, it feels just surprisingly good to work on this. I thought it'd be nice to get a little bit farther, but, you know, just thinking, just from the technical or logical aspect of getting it further along, but I don't know. It feels like I got an old friend out here, and it's happy that I'm working on it again. So I wasn't expecting that, so I feel good about that. It really makes me want to keep working on it. That's, you know, again, the fun thing about these finish, like, this is kind of, it's not like a finish it Friday. This is like a belated finish it Friday because I didn't really do one last week. But that's the nice thing about these finish it Fridays is that whenever I work on, whenever I pull out one of these projects that I haven't worked on in ages, I just get excited about finishing it. So I don't know, maybe I will end up leaving this out and working on it a little bit more. It would be nice if it was done, that's for sure. This has been, I think, my longest outstanding project. So it would be nice if it was done. One of my favorite projects, though, for sure. I'm curious now, like now I know a whole lot more about quilting and all that since I started this project, and I'm just trying to imagine if I would have tried to machine quilt this, it would have been just so difficult, I think. Just so big to pull through the quilt, or pull the quilt through the machine. I want to remove this guy right now. He's kind of in my way. Ugh, two hands, I guess. I'll have more pins again after this. That's fun. Yep, Terry. So it is mostly my husband's jeans. I think there's maybe one. He has a habit of buying jeans and then never getting rid of the old ones. So I just started taking the old ones when I started this quilt ages ago. Um, so it's mostly his jeans. I did try and use one or two of my old pairs of jeans, but it had some stretch in it, and I that wasn't as easy to use. Like especially in these little thin strips. Like once they start stretching one way, that got annoying. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to use any more of my jeans. And I was doing log cabin quilts or log cabin blocks, so that's where you have the a square in the center, and you can see here's a little piece here. So you do this piece, and then you just keep sewing until and you get just bigger and bigger and bigger. So the neat thing is that I just did all the small piece. I have 16 of these in the quilt. I did all the small piece on all of them. Then I did the next size up is here. Then I did the next size up on all of them. Then I did this side on all of them, and then this side. So I just kept going until I'd run out of jeans, and then I'd go to the closet or see if there was any more old jeans to use, and I'd keep adding to my roll of 1.5 inch jeans. So that's what was kind of nice about it. I could just keep working on it without having all the fabric available yet. I'm right from this seam here. I need ink. There we go. This is actually, I am really pulling on this, but it's easier tonight to pull through than it was last night with the hand quilting. So I don't know what that's saying. I got the right needle for the job here, I guess. I'm excited to get the new needles for hand quilting. A few more days in the mail, probably, before that happens. All right, we're done here. Scissors. All right, let's trim them all. He was not wondering what happened to his jeans. He had, like I said, he just doesn't throw away the old ones, so he's wearing all the new ones. He wasn't missing these at all. One bit. I think there might be a pair of my dad's jeans in here too, because he was getting rid of a pair of jeans, and I think I needed more men's jeans to keep making it bigger. This is actually, so I just had a continuous roll of this. I cut all the strips, or cut the jeans into 1.5 inch strips, and I kept sewing them to each other. Hold on, there we go. And I actually have some of that roll left over. So if the hedgehog that's behind me, that's actually left over from this Jean Quilt, a bunch of my strips. So the hedgehog little wall hanging behind me looks, just like this. It's because I snagged it from leftovers from this project. And I still have a little bit of the jean on a roll left, so I might make a pillow or something out of it. All right, that segment is done. So I gotta scooch this, unroll it a little bit more and scooch it down to the next row. It's kind of zigzaggy a little bit. So here's the next section that I gotta put together. So we're working the other way now. So let me grab all my tools here and scooch. It's so heavy. Okay. So here, I'm looking at the up there one that I already have done for reference. So here it's where I have these yellow squares, it's the center of that. So zoop, and then it's this line right here. So about right there is where we need to make the first one. I'm going to move that pin. So here is an example of where I sewed two different strips together. So I'd cut a pair of jeans, and wherever that would end, I would sew the next little bit on. And sometimes the edges are on the outside, and sometimes they're on the inside. It's kind of just like a fun little artsy feature of the quilt. All right here. Oh, that a four or 5 inch squares cut out of jeans. That would be a more that's a great idea for a way to do this. Ooh, it'd be fun to do like a flying geese quilt, like where you have a rectangle, but then you have like the little triangles on the end. That would be really pretty with the jeans. I think Blair Stocker in her book that I've shown that here before. I think she might have a jean quilt in hers, in her book. I remember that being really pretty. All right, so 3 rows down, we're gonna go right here. I don't think I have enough yarn to do all of these again, but we'll do what we can. I would definitely do a quilt like this again. I wouldn't do it exactly the same. Just because, I don't know, it'd be fun to try something else, but I would sew with jeans again. That was fun. I love the idea of recycling fabrics. I mean, that's why, my Ender and Leader magic quilt that I'm working on, like that's all, that's, uh, that's all recycled clothing as well. It's just wanting to pull off the table here. All right, this will be my last tie with this yarn, then I gotta get more yarn. It's kind of nice having the table underneath because I can push the needle on the table, and that's helping me through. All right, wrap around here. Yeah, I just have enough, barely enough. Okay, let's trim those, and then I'll get some more yarn on the needle. Oh yeah, look at these guys. These ones are fluffing up quite a bit already. These ones have been on here for a while. So once that gets in the wash, that'll fluff up even more. It's just the agitation. So the yarn rubbing against each other. Animal wool or fibers have like little microscopic barbs in them. So when they rub it against each other, all those barbs keep grabbing onto each other, and that's kind of what felting is. It's just grabbing on itself more and more and more. I'll have to try and, gosh, see, again, I don't have a place to even lay out a quilt this big, but I'll have to try and lay it out somehow, maybe somewhere this weekend, so I can take a photo of it and show you guys a little bit better what it looks like. And I think Facebook likes color correcting video a lot, so sometimes it might be the color might just be off. It's definitely blue jean blue, all sorts of blue jeans. There we go. Oops. Let's see, like here I'm using the table again to push it down. Nope, the yellow patch is some wool. Gosh, I hope that doesn't shrink too much. If it does, that's fine. It's some wool fabric that I happen to have. So that's actually not recycled. But I liked it because it's that same kind of yellow, gold yellow that jeans have, so I thought it kind of went well, and it'd be cute for the center square. So no, that is, but it's a wool fabric. It's not from the jeans at all. Although it would have been kind of neat if I like stole the pockets of jeans, and then I could have like that muslin that the pockets are made up of there. That would have been kind of cool. That was way back when. That's the start. These squares are the start of this project, cutting those. So that was like 15 years ago or 12 years ago or whenever I started this. So um, that was a decision that was made a long time ago. Can't quite remember. I suspect I liked that there was that gold jean color. This is falling off the table. All right. Tie this little knot. And we'll trim this and we can scooch over a bit more. Let's get these. Oh, you saw a Jean Quilt made out of pockets only. Ooh, that would be kind of fun. Then you could hide stuff in the pockets. That would be a really fun, like, little kids quilt. Oh, I'm like heaving this over. All right. Next, or the next area right here. I think I got 3 more of these little areas to go, so we'll see how far we get tonight. I'd like to try and finish them, because then that's it, except for the border. I gotta figure that out yet. About here and here. Ah, come on. There we go. Whoop, almost pulled it all the way through. That's a little far. All right, still letting me pull off the table. There. Get more on the table there. There we go. This one's getting funny. Oh yay! You got it. You got that quilt out. All right. Next knot. 3 rows over. Oh, just so you guys know, all my holiday cards went out today. So if you signed up to get a holiday card, it's on its way. Those are really fun to do. Let's get rid of this guy first. He's in my way. Oh, I know. The log cabin block. That is one of my favorite blocks. It's just so like graphically basic. Like I love that it's just rectangles, but I love that it can create so many different overall designs. Like when it's in a quilt, like if you see the quilt as a whole, you know, traditionally with a log cabin, you can kind of see here. Well, maybe it typically has a dark side and a light side, so you divide your light fabrics and your dark fabrics. My dark fabrics are the outside of the jeans, and the light colors are the inside, so like the wrong and the right side of the jean fabric. Because the inside of jeans are typically a bit lighter than the outside. Oh, Robin, I did get it. That is so sweet of you, and thanks so much. That was just so sweet, and the little piece of fabric and holiday fabric in there was just too cute. That was just really nice. But yeah, the log cabin it's just those strips going around and around the center square, and it just I just love that it's just like rectangles, but you get that triangle effect out of it because of the lights and dark sides. I'll try and show you guys when I'm done. I don't know. There's something just simple and graphic about it, and it's still one of my favorites. Get rid of this pin. Let's get rid of this guy right away, too. Oh gosh, one of these feels. Oh, this one. This one's got like a weird barb on. I'm gonna toss that one. That's gonna hurt after a while. I'm trying to get rid of the supplies that are bad or don't work anymore, like bent pins, and I'm trying to be okay with reducing the amount of those that I have. Ugh. So a pin feels like it's gonna wreck my fabric a little bit. I'm gonna get rid of it. Oh, it was fun to do the cards. I'm excited for it. This is the first time I've done something like that. Sending out like we don't like we don't even really do holiday cards. You know, like with the letter and to the family or whatever. Like what people do, we haven't ever really done that. So this is to do a bunch of holiday cards is kind of new to me, and it was pretty fun. Alright, this section is done. Snipple these guys. Got quite a bit of yarn left on there to keep using. I have not, Leslie. I'm curious if anyone else has done that either. You can do like Leslie's talking about tacking a quilt, so kind of like like those guns to put tags on for for retail stores to put like little tags, those little like plasticky tags. You can there's like a gun that you can get to do that, so you'll tack together a quilt like that instead of like these pins, or instead of basting it in a different way. Oh no, Jennifer, that's the worst. Okay, this one. Ooh, this is the last one, I think, you guys. Ooh, this timing is gonna be perfect. Yay, we're totally gonna finish this tonight. Finish the middle area. Not finish it, but still. Yay! That's a big step done. Definitely have to lay it out and see where I'm at with this thing. So there's like this diagonal X pattern in this, and then I'm putting like these little pods in the middle. It's kind of hard to see that pattern because it just looks like there's a lot going on. I'm hoping after I wash it, I'm hoping that pattern will be a little bit more visible because all these ties will get a little bit smaller. I'm hoping that is the case, so we'll see. But I got to do the whole border yet, and the border, I mean, that's almost about the same surface area of having to do the whole inside, so that's gonna take a while yet to do the border, and there's a lot to hold together still. Like I still need the ties close together and stuff, so we'll see how that goes. Need to make some decisions there. All right, 3 over. Lucy, I'm not sure, but it is a very, very strong, very sharp, big needle. It's either an upholstery needle, and I think that's what it might be. I'm trying to think of where I got it. It was with all my supplies for this project, so I acquired it from my stash of stuff somewhere. So the only thing I could think of is if maybe at some point I had bought some needles for like big upholstery needles. That's where I would look for first, would be like a big upholstery needle, because I mean it's so strong, like there's no way I could bend this, and the eye is just big enough for me to get this yarn through, and it is super sharp, and it's tapered. Like if you look at this needle, it's not just sharp and then fat. It's like thin, and a little wider, little wider, little wider. It's not till about like right here that it's the full width, and I think that's what's helping me slide through. I suspect that's what a hand quilting needle will be more like that. Like the taper is going to be longer than some needles to help like slide through a little bit. So I suspect upholstery. It's a little bit different than a doll making needle because it is heftier. I do have a long needle that's kind of, here, let me see. I can reach. Yeah, so this is more of my like doll making needle. It's still a long needle, but if you look at it, just this one it's just fatter. Look, it's almost twice as thick as the doll making one. So it is a little bit different. This one has been bending over time. This one, I don't think there's any way I could bend it. And I suspect the tips are going to be a hair different as well. Yeah, you can even kind of see. So this one, the pointy part is only about till right there, and then it's like thick there. Whereas the one on the left, again, it goes to about right there until it's as wide as it can go. Oh, Leslie Ann, you said that you've used dull needles, not sharp enough. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is an upholstery needle, which you can still get at like a Joann's and that sort of stuff, or a Michael's. It feels like it's meant to go through heavy duty stuff, like upholstery fabric attached to like the couch already, and you know what I mean? Like it feels like it's meant for heavy duty work like that. So I suspect at one point I acquired an upholstery needle for some reason. I have no idea. I've not done upholstery. I would love to do upholstery at some point. I have this cool couch that we got free because a friend was getting rid of it, and I think they must have got it for free too. It's super vintagey, but like it even has like horse hair in for the padding and stuff yet. It's so cool. It would be awesome to take apart, sand up, and get the wood looking all good, and then redo all the upholstery part for it. But like, oh, that would be a huge undertaking, and it would require like the whole basement, and I'm not ready for that job yet. So I might never be ready for it because the supplies are even still expensive and stuff, and I don't know if I really want to deal with that couch that much, but I love the idea of it. So upholstery would be cool at some point. There's a chair we'd love to recover too, but all that just seems like too big of a job for us right now. without like really focusing on it. Um, so maybe someday, maybe I can use this needle again for that. But yeah, I'm not quite sure why I have this needle. It actually might have been from when I did that bookmaking class. Um, it might still be an upholstery needle, but I might have had to have a tough needle like this to go through a bunch of pages of cardboard and paper and stuff. But again, I still suspect it's a upholstery needle of some sort. Hefty for sure. Super duper strong. Okay. Oh, that's cool, Noeline. Yeah, that would be. I would love to do something like that too. I think that would just be neat. I'm wary about the time and space for that, though. That, um, like, I feel like that would be a project I'd have to start and like keep working on. Like, I can't just fold all that stuff up and set aside for for a while. But I don't know. It's still on my brain that it would be really neat to redo that couch and that chair sometime. I mean, it really would be a cool piece of furniture with it all cleaned up and with some neat fabric. And but gosh, all that stuff is so expensive too. It's not like you're just redoing it for cheap. It's just, we would have to redo the webbing on the bottom and the springs, tying all the springs on. Like it's a whole thing for sure. All right, you guys, that's it. That was our last one. That is perfect timing here. So I'm going to take this off. Let's move some of these things, and I'm going to lift this. I'm going to lift the camera up a little bit so we can take a look at this a little bit. All right, so here we are. So that's like one of our little pods that we did right there. But I'm gonna try and show you like one of these log cabins. So this would be the center, and it goes from like here to here before it got sewn onto another one. So I have 16 of these in the whole quilt. So that's 4 by 4. They're really large. I think they're like 20 inches or so. It ended up, I just kept going until I thought it was big enough. But you can kind of see it's subtle in this quilt. But I have this kind of dark side over here, meaning, dark. This is how I made it. So dark, light, light, dark, dark, light, light, dark, dark, light, light, dark, dark. And so you just keep going through that process of putting 2 darks down and 2 lights. So all the lights end up being in one like diagonal there, and all the darks end up being in one diagonal there. So that's your typical log cabin quilt. And just how you rotate the blocks when you're done determines what your thing overall is. So like, here's my dark blue area here, but the block above I've rotated. So now the dark is here and the light is on the top. So when the 2 darks are together, it forms like a line. So that's just kind of a neat feature. However you rotate these, you can get different effects. So like right here, I have like a whole light line going through the whole thing, but it's actually just from turning the blocks in different ways. So yeah, so here's an example of the border. So this is quite a bit of space all the way around yet. I have to figure out what to do for these, and I might just extend these lines, which will kind of make new squares in here. So I might just extend it and then do another one of our little pods in the middle. I mean, that might be it, but that's a lot of quilting yet. That's 16 of these pods. No, it's 4. Yeah, it would be 16 of the little ones. 16 of those, and then something on the corners yet. So, it's about as much as what this inside work would be. So anyway, that felt awesome. Getting this guy moving along. All right, I'm gonna flip you guys around. The whole thing, I think it's a king. Like I didn't go by any standard. It's square. Actually, you know what? It's not quite square, because what I did is the part that's gonna be closest to like our chins, I made the border half size versus larger on all the edges. Yeah, so the top I made a little bit shorter, so it's not quite square. 6'8". The inside is about, I think these, if I remember right, these blocks are like 20 inches big or so. Approximately. It might be a little off from there, but if that's the case, then the inside is at least 80 by 80, and let's add another at least 20 for the border. It's at least 100 inches by 100 inches. So that's approaching king size, right? It's probably about 110 by 110. Oh gosh, maybe not that big. That's a lot. So it's moving into the king size area for sure. Proportion wise, it's probably more queenish, I think, but yeah, it's getting big. But I'm stoked. I'm excited for it. So yay, I'm gonna have to lay this out and check it out, and I will try and take a photo of it like that and figure out what I'm doing for the border. Yeah, hopefully something simple that won't take forever. So awesome, you guys. Thank you for joining me here tonight. Have a fabulous weekend, and thanks for hanging out with me again for this week. I will see you on Monday, where we will start stitching that swan embroidery. I will throw a link up on Monday again if you wanted to get the PDF, so you can still stitch with us on Monday. So awesome, you guys. Thanks again. See you on Monday. Good night.